So you were in the NHS. What made you leave and decide to do this for yourself?
Well, so during the NHS, I was trained in the cognitive behavioural therapy, which, as I say, was felt like it was very symptom management in the NHS, and clients were provided with a certain number of sessions in the NHS. Don't know if that still happens, but when I was there, that was the case. And again, I was seeing this theme of like clients getting it, like they got what they needed to do. They were doing like what they called homework in between session and challenging their thoughts, but they didn't always feel it, like the shift in what they were telling themselves or whatever. So there was something around that made me want to go deeper in terms of my training, which unfortunately by that point in the NHS, there wasn't any funding for, and they weren't very flexible in terms of time off if you were funding for yourself. So that was an element of it. So I started doing training in lots of other modalities, and to be honest, with my patterns that I hadn't yet fully worked on at that point, and the pressure, this is the thing as well, it's not always our stuff. There's systems we navigate that actually cause us to sort of get into these, what feels like these people-pleasing patterns and traps and perfectionism. If we're in a system that doesn't feel safe to say no to it or people in it, then that takes its toll as well. It's not always about us.
Yeah, no, if that's your job, you're getting paid to do that.
Mhm.
You can easily
Yeah,
feel like, well, I just have to do everything that they ask of me, even
yeah.
if it doesn't feel
I,
comfortable or it
yeah,
feels overwhelming.
absolutely. And I would like be staying hours later to like catch up on paperwork. If something had occurred in a session, say like a safeguarding thing or something I had to follow up as priority, and then I'd end up staying late to get everything else done, but you wouldn't get paid for that. Like that was just normalized within that culture that you don't get paid for that. You're just expected to go above and beyond. And obviously that feeds into everything when you start feeling like quite resentful of that and quite like, well, hang on, this doesn't seem right. But then I feel bad for feeling like it don't feel right because I'm in this caring role and I should care enough to want to stay overtime for
Yeah.
free and all this. So,
Well, there's tension there between your
yeah,
between your job and your patient. So, this is a calling of yours. You feel really
yes.
passionately about what you're doing and you want to support your patients and you appreciate, you might only have so many sessions with them and you want them to
Mm,
really count and you want to make sure you're doing the best job you can.
yeah.
But the system that
Yeah,
is all facilitated through is taking the piss out of you
spot on.
and also taking the piss out of all of your colleagues. But also if they accept it, then it's
Yes,
even worse for you to speak out. If the culture is what it is, you're
yes.
on your own to
Because those who,
complain.
yeah, you're so right. Because those who, it was there within the culture, because those who didn't offer to stay late or to work extra or to do this or to do that, it was, it was sort of known that it
Yeah.
was frowned upon,
Yeah, and they are
bad
judged.
things were said like
Yeah,
about these people. So
yeah,
well,
which
it wasn't safe to stand up and say, actually, I'm not going to, do that for free.
yeah,
And
yeah.
actually, I don't agree that, you're treating these people as targets and numbers in the same way you would a business product. So there was a lot of stuff within that, that sort of organization and the NHS that just didn't sit right with me and wasn't aligned with me. And I think it just took its toll, and the striving and doing and yeah, struggling to just switch off in between, and it just led me to just burnout. And I went off sick actually before I left. I'd already started my business. I wouldn't have even called it a business back then. That's interesting because it was just my private practice.
Yeah,
Um,
your little sideline.
yeah, so I'd already started that, and
Yeah.
then I went, got poorly, was signed off, and then I didn't go back. And oh my god, it's the best thing I ever did. So yeah, it's the best thing I ever did. And I just focused in on building up my private practice that, like I say, back then I didn't even consider myself to have a business. It's just weird how we the meaning we attach to certain phrases and words and stuff. So I set up my business. I was trained then in EMDRs. This is really highlighting a pattern of wanting to achieve and seek approval and perfection, because I was then trained in EMDR, schema therapy, which are like modalities that go deeper in terms of your nervous system and memories and trauma and attachment and stuff, and also sex and porn addiction counselling,
Mhm.
and psychosexual therapy and somatic practices as well.
That's a
So
lot.
a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
And somewhere along the way, I was like, what am I doing, when I started to contemplate doing another course? It's like, no, Charlotte, you are enough. You are good enough. You know what you're doing. But I wanted the modalities. I wanted my approach to go deeper, to fill that gap that we're seeing so many people experiencing of not feeling the difference. So I needed to understand what it was that was at the root of it, like how we could go further than just trying to think ourselves out of how we're feeling and to just fake it till we make it. I wanted to actually help people feel different longer term, like more lasting change.